this is like such a divided thing where like there are people who
hello again. I am Monty.
There are people who started in World, right? And they're like, the difficulty is right. And they've not played anything else besides like World and Rise and in this game. And they're like, no, the difficulty is fine. And I'm like, I don't think the difficulty is fine. I think even for the base game, the difficulty is not fine. Tempered gore is maybe fine, but there are just too many things that you have at your disposal that you don't, to make you not have to really worry about anything. The whole time through the game, like, I don't really feel like I need to eat anything. When I'm playing GU, I'll be sitting down at the table like, okay, what do I want to eat this time? What do I want to eat for this hunt? Well, I think I'm going to just be doing gathering, so I'm going to probably just eat for stamina because I'm going to be running around the whole goddamn time because I don't have a mount, right? So then I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to eat for stamina, and then like what skills do I want since I'm going to eat for stamina, right? And then it's like, all right, well, I'm going to be fighting something, so I'm going to eat for probably attack, and then I'm going to look for other things that are going to help me in the fight versus this monster that I'm about to fight, because I can't just call my Seikret to save my life. So like getting hit by big damage is not like something I want to do. So I'm going to eat for health more than stamina, and then just eat like well done steaks or whatever to raise my stamina. But now what, you don't really need to eat for anything in low rank, and I would argue that you don't really need to eat for anything in high rank either, right? Like anything in the game right now you really don't need to eat for. You can just eat a well done steak and have your health and your stamina go to max, and you're good. That's it.
And I am bloody exhausted by the thing we'll be talking about today.
Let's go, Blunty. Let's hear what you got to say.
So insidiously infecting the talk around this game to such a broad extent, I feel kind of compelled to talk about it.
And I feel also compelled to react to it.
One last time ever, at least until the expansion comes out. Because it is so
I hope that the expansion kicks everybody's ass. Like, minus the people who are like at 800 and 900 hunter rank. Like these people that are just at like ridiculously high hunter ranks because they're just like, they have the time and they're just going super hard body, super optimal hunting the whole time. And it's like at a certain point, it's not about fun for them. It's not about fun. It's about getting to the max rank. Like that's what I was watching this video the other day, and the dude was like, if you want to push to 800, 999 or whatever, you want to push to max HR, you got to do some stuff that's not going to be fun. Like you're going to run this quest and you're going to do it this specific way with these 4 people. You're going to use I think they used 4 heavy bow guns he was like, oh, well, there's another way to do it where you use 3 heavy bow guns and a light bow gun, with paralyzing shot or whatever. And one way is 20 seconds faster than the other. And they just run this over and over and over and over and over again, right? And it's like, yeah, is it going to be fun? Nah, it's not going to be fun because you're going to get bored. But if you want to push that high hunter rank, that's what you got to do. So, like, that's like, the sweaty people. But I can't do that. I can't do that. Oh, your buffs stay after quests? Like your meal, like your food buff stays after quests. It's like, do they even want you to eat? It's like, do they even want you to be a hunter? I'm like, this is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that the game is going to end up turning into just a hack 'em up and hack and slash action game. And it's like, there have been games that are like that, and like there's games that have a lot of like actiony, like high flying stuff to them that I've seen in like Frontier, but I'm sure the games were still hard and you still had to do certain stuff to get, like there was like a grind to it. Like I feel like that's what this game is about. Like when you're a hunter, you're grinding for things, and it's like the grind doesn't always have, like people don't like grinding in games. They don't like grinding stuff. They don't like having to sit there and like do the same mission over and over and over and over again, which is why it's so much easier for you to get sets and stuff now, because you just fight a monster once or twice and you've got the set, well not once or twice, but you've got like a whole weapon, or you've got like most of the stuff that you need to make the set. Like, and then like sometimes you might need to fight something different, right? Sometimes you might need to get a gem or something like that, so you got to fight something a couple of more times to get it. But like it usually don't. And then they got the thing for the investigations where you can find a gem on stuff. If you need a certain gem, then you could possibly just find a gem on one of the rewards and just play the investigation and get the gem without having to worry about getting it randomly. Which is, it's like, this is one of the games that I wish it wouldn't respect my time. Because this is one of the games where like you're gonna play this game for, like, you want to play this game for hundreds of hours. That's the type of game it is. So when the game is respecting your time, it's like it's just handing you things. It's just giving you handouts the whole time. And it's like it's not really that fun when it's just handing everything to you. People are platinum in the game in 3 days. People are like, people have everything and don't even know their bow combos. Like Chris make me so mad, yo. Chris make me so mad. I've had a grudge against Chris since we were kids. Like but then even more so from Tekken, because like Tekken, he's always beaten me in Tekken. And until Tekken 8 is when I was like, all right, I'm gonna show you how much better I got at fighting games, so you can realize that this is not a joke. Like, so I showed him how much better I got at fighting games, and I'm like better at him at Tekken. So it's just, and it's like you come into my favorite game and you blow through everything, and you're higher hunter rank, and you have all the high tier gear, and I'm like, you don't even play Monster Hunter. Like, how do you have everything already? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's how casual the game is. And it's like, it's not saying that he can't be better, but like, it doesn't ask anything of him. It doesn't ask him to be better. The game doesn't go like, you need to do this. He does a lot of like planning and like planning for stuff and like, you know, wanting to make builds and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. That's good. But like, the game doesn't ask of you to get better. The game doesn't go get good and come back, right? You just beat the monsters to death, and then you go farm them some more. Like, that's it.
But how people are acting like about it.
They want the Monster Hunter Now crowd.
I'm going to expose them for it today. Just embarrassing them.
I played Monster Hunter Now
Let's talk about that hot button topic.
I have it. I think I deleted it off my phone, but
hand-picked selection of influencers and media.
I got like a Baroth set.
Wilds. That being nearly all of them have stated some version or variation of the words, "The game is easier than I anticipated," or simply, "The game is too easy."
The game is too easy. Yes, the game is too easy now. Imagine me going into Elden Ring. Imagine me going into Elden Ring and just beating Margit on the first try or second try. Just first, second try, just beating him like he was no thing, and then moving on past it, like didn't even have a memory of who he was, right? Because you just beat him so bad. And then like why? Like why? Like, I just can't understand why you wouldn't understand why people who are coming from playing all these games, and in every game that we get, it gets easier and easier. And it's not because everybody is getting so much better at hunting monsters. It's like you get better, and then they lump on top of it, oh, here's some handouts. Here's some things that you don't have to worry about doing anymore, that like were a core part of the game. And it's like some of it is like good, like the take all button at the end of the thing. That's a good thing. That doesn't change the skill or change the difficulty of the game. You don't have to click on every single item now, right? And then like, but then like, oh, you have unlimited whetstones, and it's like I guess that's fine. That doesn't really change the skill of the game, but not having infinite whetstones makes you be more aware of the things that you're hitting with your weapon. Like when I go, your weapon in the beginning of GU has yellow sharpness, and you have like a few whetstones, and it's like you need to go into the mission, and then you end up, maybe you're brand new, and then you start hitting on like the giant monsters that just give you raw meat or whatever. You start hitting on them or whatever, and then like another monster shows up. And then you can't, and then your weapon is dull, and you're like, oh, I used all my whetstones already. Crap. Like, so you got to be wary of what you're hitting. You got to be wary of what you're doing when you go in. You have to be deliberate about like the things that you're fighting. You can't just fight everything because you don't have unlimited whetstones. If you had only like a couple of whetstones on you at a time, where you can like sharpen a couple of times, and it's like, okay, well, I need to fight this monster, I need to beat this monster, and then maybe I can take on this other monster. If both of these monsters, I need to make sure I bring whetstones, bring things to make whetstones. Like, it's like stuff like that is what makes it good. It's the preparation. They remove a ton of preparation from this game.
Oh man, that's a lot of.
Elden Ring is easier than Dark Souls, by the way. It's a very similar issue, mainly jump attack.
I'm worried that the new monster of the game is too easy and won't be engaging enough for them. Whoops! Turns out everyone's
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know. He said we're old. I wouldn't even know that. I wouldn't even know how to use. Like, I don't know the strength of jump attack. Like, if I were to use jump attack, I don't think I would be able to use it to its benefit, because like I don't understand why it's strong. You would have to tell me why it's strong, and then maybe I'd be able to use it to beat stuff. But I still think I wouldn't do as well playing in Elden Ring. I mean, granted, I've literally sat there fighting the Tree Sentinel a bunch of times, but I guess you're not supposed to fight the Tree Sentinel. But they put him right in front of you as soon as you come out the door. So you're going to be like, I want to fight it. And then like you fight it, you get your ass kicked, and you're like, no, I'm going to beat him. And I could beat him. And then you sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours trying to beat him, and then like getting better and better at like fighting him. And then you finally beat him, and it feels really good. In World, Rise, and Wilds, when you first fight, the first thing that you see, the first big monster that you see, you fight it, it's no thing. It's no thing at all. It's nothing. But like Monster Hunter, you can only jump from platforms. It plays just like Monster Hunter, probably why I like it so much. I mean, I like Monster Hunter more than Dark Souls. I think it's just because of like armor, like the armor and weapons, and like in Elden Ring and stuff like that. They don't really tell you where the armor and weapons are. You have to explore, which I don't have a problem with. I just don't have the time to explore. Now I know I said I don't care that Monster Hunter I want Monster Hunter to not respect my time. But I have goals in Monster Hunter, and they're always been there. My goals are to get the weapons and the armors that I want. So I know what I have to fight. I know what I have to go for, right? So I'm cool with spending a long time having to hunt over and over again to get those things that I want, but not knowing at all where those things are and having to explore and find new things is a different type of time spent, which is still not bad. It's just I don't have the time to know where I'm going and what I want to do, because I have to sit there and literally just explore. Could always come back to most bosses in the game. I put Elden Ring down because I had no clue where I was going, and I felt super overpowered. You felt overpowered? Like I don't know. Like I just didn't know I don't know where to get things. I don't know why things are strong. Like I guess I just didn't play enough. But like I just don't have time. I just don't have time. Like if I didn't have a job, maybe I would play Elden Ring for like 2 weeks. Like I would stream. Like if I was a streamer, I would play like Elden Ring for like 2-3 weeks or something like that straight, and just explore and just go around and find stuff. But like in this, I know what my goal is. Like it's kind of laid out. Like in Monster Hunter, everything is kind of laid out. It's like, okay, do these missions. You go to the quest counter, you get your missions, and then you have your personal goals, which are the items in the armor sets that you want to get. You cannot do the missions and just collect armor set. Well, you got to do the missions up until the point where you get to the monsters that you want to get their armor sets. But in GU, you can't even see that the armor sets and the weapons exist. You can't even see that they exist until you get to the monsters. Like in this game, they have the tree and you can't see what the monsters are, and you can't see you can't see what the weapon looks like and stuff when you haven't fought them. But you see the tree and you see how many weapons there are, which is fine, but you don't even know what's there. So every time you encounter a new monster and it unlocks a new weapon and it shows up a new weapon or a new armor set on your list at the armor or the smithy or whatever, it's like, oh snap, what's this? Oh, this looks cool. Maybe I want to farm and get this. I want to get this before I move forward because this looks cool. Like this is new. I've not seen this before. I didn't know this existed, right? But like in this game, it's like, okay, well, it's like it's like, okay, well, there's a whole bunch of them, and it's like, well, I know I'm only gonna want probably one or two of them, or maybe it depending on when I run into the next ones or whatever. I don't know. It's just them not being there feels better to me. Them not being there, it feels like you're unlocking something, and it's like that you just didn't know existed.
Just showed you was not about Monster Hunter Wilds at all, but was stuff people have said
the first
about
playthrough is rough, but the second you have an idea of what you might want to do. Yeah.
Monster Hunter game releases or expansions. Some of these comments are as old as a decade and a half.
Why does the game seem so easy, Monster Hunter? because the reason why this happens is because they keep making the games easier. It's like people never I don't okay, I get it. They want more money, right? And they're succeeding because every time they make a game, more and more people get into it, right? But it seems like the West, right? Us, right? The United States, they've been soft forever. The United States has been soft forever when it comes to hard video games, I guess, because like if it was this hard and all the games were this hard, why is Monster Hunter so big in Japan? Why is Monster Hunter like one of the biggest things in Japan, right? They didn't have a problem with the difficulty when it was difficult and hard and whatever, and every game they came out with, they play it, right? So then it comes here and they're like, yeah, I don't know. This game is kind of rough and janky. I don't know. It's too hard. Big monsters, blah, blah, blah. I don't like it. But then every time they put out a game and they make it easier and easier and easier, they get more and more and more people to play, right? So it's like, okay, well, we're going to keep making it easier and easier. And then the people that really like playing the game are like, yo, the new game, it's easy. Like why is it keeps getting easier? Like I liked the difficulty before and it was easy. And then I was like, World, right, was easier. And then I got used to it and I was like, okay. And then Endgame, it was, it was pretty good, right? Like it was fun. And it was like, it was definitely an easier Monster Hunter than the previous Monster Hunters, but it still had its like difficulty and stuff like that. And it's like, I guess they'll add difficulty back in, but it's like, dude, it keeps every single game, it gets easier. That's why people been saying it every game. Look at Street Fighter 6. it's not even to be honest, it's not even just Capcom. There's a lot of games now. I mean, I guess you can kind of put it on Elden Ring. Elden Ring does it too, but I don't feel like Elden Ring is as easy to play as Monster Hunter, but that's probably because I play Monster Hunter a lot. You know what I mean? So like I guess it's kind of the same thing, but like they're making their game easier. Like Dark Souls is but they came out with Sekiro, right? They come out with the games that are hard, and then they want to welcome people into the game, and then I think the DLC was like said to be really difficult to get through for Elden Ring, and then like I don't know, like there's tons of other games that they're finding that making the games easier, making the games more accessible to a wider audience gets more people into the game. And while I do like more people to get into the game, it's so annoying to see like people put in hard work, and then it's like the people that put in hard work and the people that are actually really, really good, they're always going to be really good at the game. They're going to excel, period. Like the Justin Wongs and the Chris G's and all of them, right? They're going to be good at the games. But it's just like I don't know. I feel like they're closing the gap between the beginners and the intermediate players, where it's just like I'm gonna just do this thing. I'm gonna just do this thing that nobody would ever do because the game allows it. But then when the new players come into Street Fighter 6, and it's their first Street Fighter ever, they know DI like the back of their hand. It's something that's just ingrained in the way they learn the game because that's all they know. So other people that have come from previous Street Fighters, we're like not thinking about DI, and we're thinking about all the things that we've learned in the past from Street Fighter, like don't jump, like don't jump, and like trying to play neutral and all of this stuff when there's neutral skips in the game, when jumping is actually like stupid. Like it's just like I've seen people that just jump, or they jump at you, they jump in on you, and then they neutral jump, and then you can't really, and then you get punished for it because you're like, oh, I thought he was gonna grab me, but he neutral jumped. He jumped in and then neutral jumped. They're like, who does that? Like, oh, new school does that. That's how this game works.
For those of you who have been visiting my content regularly lately, you'll know I predicted this exact behavior weeks ago and snapped it apart back then, broke it off at the knees, desecrated its corpse with poopies. About 5 days ago, I also popped back on the topic again with a fistful of fun, immersion-safe
The
recommendations.
game is difficult if you remove all quality of life improvements. You don't have to remove all of them. Like, you don't have to remove all of the quality of life improvements. You can keep some of them, but what I'm saying is that some of a lot of those quality of life improvements definitely they just kind of like they just soften the game up. Like, I don't know if you was here earlier when I was saying I picked up Monster Hunter GU. I started playing it again, and I started a new file like yesterday or 2 days ago, and the rewarding feeling that I got from like fighting the first big monster that you see, which is a Great Macau, felt way better than any fight that I've had with any monster in Wilds in base game. Like, it's like it felt so good to beat the Great Macau as the first monster that you fight, because like I'm also using a weapon that I've never used in that game before, which is Insect Glaive. And Insect Glaive, I had to learn it completely, and then I still don't know everything about it, but like I'm still learning that weapon, and I didn't use Charge Blade. If I went in with Charge Blade, I probably would have beat it no problem, because I've been using Charge Blade for so long. I've been using Charge Blade since Monster Hunter 4. So like I would have definitely beat whatever I ran into, but I wanted to not use a Charge Blade on a new file in GU and see if I still liked playing the game. And as I learn more about the Charge Blade and I start to get a little bit more fluid with not the Charge Blade, as I learn to get more fluid with the Insect Glaive, I'm using Valor Insect Glaive, which is also a thing that made the game a little bit easier for people from previous games. It's still harder than everything after World, because it's like you still have to go back You still have to look for things. You have to remember where stuff is. You have to know where monsters spawn. You have to know where they like to go when they start. Then they limp away. If you didn't paintball them, you know, if you know certain monsters and you fought them enough times, you know what places they frequent. And then the game, if you play through all of the missions, the game teaches you all of this stuff. The game, without having to hold your hand, the game teaches you all of this stuff just by you playing the game. Like, I never used to like doing the gathering quests and stuff like that in the game before. I just always wanted to fight stuff. But like now I'm like going through every mission, and it's like, oh, this is definitely helping me get used to the areas, knowing what's in the areas, knowing where I can get certain things, knowing how to knowing that certain things happen. Like if you hit one of the Laranovs while it's eating, if you see it chewing on like a tree, or you see it stooping down to eat something and you hit it, it'll drop an item, right? And you need these items for like a side quest or whatever. So it's like you get to realize, and that happens all the time, and not just in that side quest. So it's like there's a bunch of stuff that the game just teaches you without having to hold your hand to do it. And that's what like I miss about the older games. Whereas now it's like, if you want to get something, you just look on your map, search around for it, click on it, and just go to it. That's it. The wound system is a whole thing in itself. The wound system is just people complained. I don't know why didn't people like tenderizing. Like, I don't know why tenderizing was so bad. Now you don't have to clutch onto the monster to tenderize it. You just tenderize it by hitting it, and then you hit the wound, and then you don't even gotta like clutch onto the monster to do anything about it. You just hit it, and then you do a ton of damage. The monster explodes and falls over, and then you beat it to death. I think Wilds has like 0 gathering quests, I just noticed. Well, no, Wilds does have gathering quests. It's like the side quests. If you talk to all the people, like, you do have to go out and get, it might not be a lot of stuff. They won't make you go get a lot of different things. They will just make you go get one thing. Like, they'll make you go get a Vigor Wasp. Like your cat, go get a Vigor Wasp, or go get this one thing. Go get this. Like, it's not a whole lot of stuff. In the gathering quest in GU, the one that I just recently did, you had to, what was it? It was like, go get 20 unique ferns. So you're running around, and it says like, it has like a danger symbol next to the thing, so you know there's a monster that's going to be there. So it's like, all right, well, I'll go in here, try to collect these ferns, and then, it's a monster in here, I need parts from him, so I'm going to beat him to death because I know how to use insect glaive. I'm not scared of him anymore. And they also, like, I watched a video about this. They were like, they teach you about if you are aggressive against Great Macau, when it hops back on its tail, if it's getting ready to do its like super strong attack that does a lot of damage, and you poke him, he flies up in the air and falls on the ground, and he drops an item, and then you can beat him to death. And like, but you won't know that unless you're aggressive against him. But I remembered that, so like, it kind of helps you to know, like, maybe you might want to try to hit people out of their stuff, and it's like, okay, cool, instead of having to tell you. Like in the old games, if you fought a Jindahad, right? If you fought a Jindahad in the old games, right? I don't know if Jindahad was I don't think he was in the old games, but I'm just using it as an example. The mission where you have to fight him, they wouldn't tell you that the things drop down from the ceiling, right? Like, they wouldn't tell you, and there would probably be no scout flies to go up there and turn it green so you can see it. You would just have to look up and then hold the button and to see that there's a thing that can be pulled down, right? And it's like, how many times are you gonna die before you look around your environment to figure out how to fix this problem, right? So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Now, I definitely died to this thing a bunch of times because I didn't see the pop-up that tells you, because it's on the side of the screen, and I'm like focused on the fight. So because I'm focused on the fight and the thing pops up on the side of your screen, I didn't see it. So it kind of didn't tell me, and I was just like running around trying to figure it out. But the problem was that there were other people in the lobby, and when I was waiting for it, I would see one drop, but I didn't see anybody pull it down. So for a few times playing this hunt, I was just assuming that when he goes into that mode where he's getting ready to explode, that he shakes the area and like a glacier will randomly drop down in the area. You have to find it and hide behind it. That's how I thought it was working. But then I found out that that's not it at all. You have to pull it down. And I had been pulling these things down to drop them on his head in previous fights. So I didn't realize that I was supposed to pull it down and let it hit the ground and hide behind it. But like that was fine. Like that was the only thing that I really died to in the game, was that, because I just didn't know how the mechanic worked. But they tell you how it works with the pop-up on the side of the screen.
Easiest parts of the game, that being the opening dozen or so hours, making your way through the low rank stuff. More interesting,
I beat low rank twice in 2 days.
Or, you know, even the cocky newbies.
Twice in 2 days.
And if you're worried,
and it didn't even take me all day.
I highly recommend you at least give my thoughts on that video a listen. I got some great feedback on it. But as for Wild's difficulty, it's pretty annoying to see all this play out again. And for some reviewers at least, it's been super disingenuous commentary that's made me friggin' furious.
It's not disingenuous commentary. It's not. It maybe it's hard for you. I don't know what he's about to say about the difficulty, but maybe it's hard for you because you don't ever play Monster Hunter, so you have no frame of reference for the difficulty, or you started in World, so you don't understand why people are saying that the game is too easy when it feels the same or similar to how World felt. Because World was harder, but they just keep adding little quality of life changes that change the difficulty of the game overall. Like adding the sake, like they use previous games to experiment with stuff before they put it in a newer game. So like we've had mounts since the end of Monster Hunter World in the Guiding Lands. They took mounts and put them in Rise as a core part of the game, and it became much easier, right? And it's like you can ride around now and sharpen. Well, I think you could in World in the Guiding Lands too, but like now you anywhere you go, it's like, oh well, let me hop on my mount and sharpen while I'm on my way to go hunt this monster, which is the reason why also a lot of monster hunts are much shorter now, because you have a mount. So when they leave the area, it's no thing for you to go to them, right? Like if you had longer hunts happen in the past because, like, number one, you had the paintball stuff. So if you missed the paintball or you forgot to paintball them, or the paintball ran out and then they dip off somewhere and you don't know where they went, you got to go look for them, right? You got to go look for the monster. And you also don't have a mount to ride around on to make this faster, right? You also can't just see them on the map the entire time. You of course it's going to take a little longer if they leave and you don't do the proper things, right? If you're prepared and you do the proper things, the hunt is going to be shorter. But if in this game in Wilds, you don't have to prepare for nothing for real. If you just know how to fight and use your weapon and you just have enough damage, you could just beat the crap out of stuff for the most part and finish the fight very quickly without needing to prepare, like all I do is take mega potions, and honey. That's it. That's my preparation. Half the time I'll be forgetting to eat because I don't be thinking about it. I'm like, do I really need to eat for attack? Do I really need to? Am I trying to set a world record here? No, I'm not. So I don't need to eat for attack. I don't need to eat for defense for real. Like I just need to pump up my defense on my armor and I'm good.
I watched a video review yesterday from someone who largely
prepare greatsword go bonk
content, complain about the difficulty of the game for some minutes on end in their video. Before
minutes?
Later on in the video,
how long have I been recording? 34 minutes.
They only played through the campaign and they haven't had time for the late game stuff yet.
Well, that's not the case for me. I've played the early game twice in 2 days, and then I'm at hunter rank 89 or something like that right now, or 88 or whatever I'm at, right? And that's not even far Like that's for the most part that's in game. Like 100 is probably the goal, and then everything after 100 is like extra, right? It's just like I'm just gonna keep doing these things. I'm gonna pump my hunter rank up so I have this flashy number, on my thing, which I wouldn't mind having the flashy number of like 900 or whatever, but I just don't have the time to play that much. I just don't play that much. Unfortunately, I have a job, and I say that unironically. Like, I would love to not have a job and just do this all day and get paid. Like, I really would. I would much rather work hard and edit and do all the things for myself and get paid for it than work hard for somebody else. But
in context, the campaign he was talking about, the part he was whining that was too easy, the part of the game that happens between character creation and the credits rolling, is entirely.
And I would argue that is kind of easy too, because I'm playing GU. I've been playing GU for 7 hours. I've been playing GU for maybe 5 hours, because maybe I left the game on or something like that. Maybe like 5 hours. But I've been doing all the quests. Like, I've been just going down the list. I did all the quests in HR1 and in the village, and now I'm on the HR2 quests, and I'm just going down the line. I'm not even doing just the key quests, because you can do just the key quests, but you don't know which ones are the key quests. You have to go look them up, or you can just do them all. But if you do them all, you kind of get more. You add more to your skill. You add more to the knowledge that you have of the game if you do all the quests. I will say that. I never used to like doing all the quests. I never used to like doing the gathering quests. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get to fighting things as fast as possible. But doing all of the quests, all the gathering quests, and going down the line actually makes fighting the first monsters that you run into feel that much better, because it's like I've gotten to the point where I feel like I've earned the ability to like fight these monsters, and now I gotta beat them, and I have all these items. I'm prepared, right? I've got my potions and stuff. Like, I've got things I've eaten for this hunt or whatever, and now it's like I can turn around and I feel good, and I feel like I've gotten better at the game since when I picked it up when I didn't know how to play Insect Glaive, and I was like scared of Great Macau because I wasn't comfortable playing the weapon. So now I turn around and I could beat him. I could beat him fairly easily now, but it feels like I beat him because I got better, not I just beat the whole, like, I'm just smashing through all of the monsters, because I know that they're going to be monsters that I'm going to run into that's going to be harder to fight, and I'm going to have to learn how to fight them, because I can't just call my Seikret to scrape me up off the ground when I get knocked down and I scrape my knee. You know what I'm saying? Like,
highly and only
gotta fish 30 damn whoppers for damn platinum trophy.
Imagine only
just got this game so far. I love it. Now, don't get me wrong, Chubzilla. I do still like wilds. I like wilds. I'm just afraid for the future of the game getting easier and easier and easier. It's like the people who are hardcore fans of Monster Hunter, right? Like, we love the game, right? And we've played so many of the games we've been playing all the time. But it's like, I say I've been playing the games for a long time, since 4, but I'm not like some master at the game. But like, I just enjoy the games a lot. So it's like, regardless of this difficulty problem or this difficulty issue, I still like the game. And I still look forward to playing the DLC. I still look forward to doing everything in the game and playing it more and all that. But it's just, it doesn't feel as rewarding as some of the previous games did. And that's what people are asking for when they say this game feels too easy. It's like, can you give us more of a challenge so that it feels better to beat these monsters, and it's not just like I'm just going in here to just do this real quick and get the parts for this armor without really having to worry about dying, like, at all. Like, make it a challenge where it's like, okay, well, I can't just, oh, my weapon needs to be sharpened, let me run around the monster in a circle and taunt them and while I'm sharpening my weapon and drinking my potions, and while I'm just running in circles around the monster and he can't do nothing about it. Like, somebody equated the Seikret to leaving the area in the old games, right? Where you leave through a loading screen and then you would leave through a loading screen and heal, and then um you would heal and then like sharpen your weapon after you leave the area, which is something that we've all done. But you have to make it to the other area. If the monster is chasing you down and your stamina is running down, and you can't let your stamina go all the way down because your character will stop running and bend over and take a deep breath. So you have to start running slower again, but you can't let the monster keep up. And then your health is like right here, and you're like, I need to make it to that part of the map so that I can get out, right? With your Seikret, you don't have to do that. You get knocked down and half your health is gone. You just call your Seikret every time you get knocked down. And there's no cooldown, there's no nothing. He picks you up off the ground and you just run circles around the area until you got done what you need to get done. And then you jump off, and then you're mounting the monster, because every time you jump off your Seikret, it's mount damage, right? So like a lot of the times, every time I get up off my Seikret, I jump back on top of him and I mount the monster, put 2 wounds in his back, and then do a finisher, knock him on the ground, beat the garbage out of him, right? And if other people are there, we just rolling and kicking on them and stuff like that. And it's all because I called my Seikret to pick me up so that I can heal half my health back. Like, it's like you don't get to do that in the old games. Like, that's where the challenge is. To be fair, we're still in early high rank and not even close to master rank, G rank difficulty. But my thing is, I'm hoping that when the game comes, like when the game's DLC comes out, I want to get my ass kicked. I want to come out of the fight and be like, all right, I need to respect these monsters. I need to go eat. I need to go prepare. I need to go build a better set. I need to make sure my decos are in order. I need to make sure I'm using the correct weapon. That's how I want to come out them fights. I want to come out them fights where they smack me down and they be like, now go fix yourself and come back right. That's how I want to come. I don't want to just blow through this game beating the dog shit out of everything. If I beat the dog shit out of something, I want it to be because I got good at beating it. Like a thing that was that happened that way for me in World, because I remember I played the previous games, but World was just the first one I was like, I don't know. This kind of breaking the first thing that broke the immersion for me in Monster Hunter World was seeing damage numbers. I turned them off at first, but then I was like, everybody is looking at them already. Everybody has them on. They're on by default. Then everybody started talking about them, and everybody started referencing the damage numbers and looking at them in training mode and all. So I was like, I might as well just put them back on. There's no point in them being off. It's not changing the damage I'm doing. So I'm like, all right, I got used to it. It's whatever, right? It doesn't change the fact that I still got to beat this monster, right? And there's like the being able to see stuff on the map all the time. There was certain stuff where you did have to find footprints before you could see the monster, but then it was just, there's just so many things that they should just take it away. Like if in the DLC, they're like, oh, we killed the Seikret. You don't have a Seikret. Or when you're fighting, the Seikret runs off because it's like scared of the monsters or something, because they're so much stronger than the other monsters that they're scared to be around. So they're not around, so you can't call them. So you can't switch your weapon. You can't use the items that are in their pack. You can't use them to jump on and heal and sharpen your weapon. That in itself, taking the Seikret out of the equation would instantly make the game feel better. Or I'm not gonna say better because everybody won't feel better, but it will make the game feel more difficult. If you just take the Seikret out, I think it would just make the game feel much better. So like low rank and high rank stuff, you keep your Seikret stays around. But in like master rank, G rank, and you're fighting like arch-tempered monsters or super strong monsters, that's when your Seikret is like, yo, I'm out. I don't want to have no parts of this. And while you're in those areas or while you're fighting, your Seikret runs off to safety to find safety, and now you have to fight this monster by yourself. In order for you to get away and heal or sharpen, you actually have to sharpen on the ground now. I don't sharpen on the ground at all anymore. Like, there's no reason for me to sharpen my weapon while I'm standing not on my Seikret. Like, well, there's no reason. Palico can also do it all. Oh yeah, you don't even need to have like multiple Palicos and have certain Palicos that do certain things, that they do everything. The NPCs are better than a lot of players. I turn my NPCs off. That's one thing I did do. So like, even though I still have I turned my auto SOS off. So I did have auto SOS on for like low rank, because regardless of how easy or hard it was, I wanted to just get through low rank stuff. So I just left I turned on auto SOS, so it will automatically SOS, which is another quality of life thing that they added, where you can just turn on auto SOS and you never have to shoot the thing up in the sky. It just, when it starts, it automatically sends out a SOS. Like, you don't even see the animation. People just join. Like, people should honestly not rely so much on the mount. I rarely use it in Rise. Wait, you can auto SOS? Yeah, you can set your thing to auto SOS. You just go to, if you go to Alma and you go to settings at the top of the list when you talk to her, there's a setting for auto SOS, so it automatically just SOSs. The problem with not relying on the mount so much and not using it, it's like, I don't want to have to intentionally handicap myself through the first playthrough. Like, you know how like people do like Nuzlocks and stuff in Pokemon, and they do all this other stuff. It's like, imagine like doing a Nuzlocke on your first run through of a new Pokemon game. It's like what? Like, why? Like, you just not going to enjoy the game at first, the first run through. I just want to play the game, and whatever they give me, I'm going to use it, right? Like, I'm going to use it. Like, I'm gonna see a wound on them. I'm not going to use Focus Strike. I'm gonna disable my Focus Strike. I'm not going to do all that on the first time I'm like playing through the game. Like, maybe like if I become a larger content creator, or I don't know, maybe like more people watch me or whatever, and I'm like, oh, maybe I got an idea. I want to do a Nuzlocke run where I turn off my focus and I don't hit and I don't use my Focus Strike at all in the game, and I don't jump on my Seikret during fights and stuff like that. Then I would, yeah, sure. But like, I don't want to do that like now. Like, that's something for like later, when like you don't have nothing else to do and you're like, all right, well, I want to start doing these challenge runs where you make up your own challenges. That's what I think. That's for later. Like, it's just, they make the game this way. Like, I'm not going to intentionally handicap myself in an old Monster Hunter game. In an old Monster Hunter game, you want to do everything you can to not handicap yourself. But now in this game, in order to make it hard, you got to do everything in your power to handicap yourself. It's backwards. It's like, you got to handicap yourself in this game, but in the old games, you're like, I don't want to go into a fight handicapped. I want to go into a fight with every advantage I have. And it's still hard. like, it's just crazy. I started with Sword and Shield, and now I'm using Insect Weapon. Yeah, so I in this game, in Wilds, I started with Charge Blade because I've been playing Charge Blade from Monster Hunter 4 all the way until now. So like, that's my favorite weapon, right? And I feel like they kind of did Charge Blade kind of dirty in this one. It feels very, very slow, like slower than usual. But I mean, it's still strong. It still puts out a ton of damage. I still like playing it. But I also started playing Sword and Shield. I didn't start liking Sword and Shield until World. Because in every game before it, I feel like Sword and Shield and Hammer was a game, another weapon I thought was boring. Sword and Shield and Hammer, I always thought were super boring weapons to play, especially when there were just so many other like fun weapons to play in like their play styles. So in World, I think they added Perfect Rush. I don't know if Perfect Rush was in any game before that. If it was, then I would play it. I would play that weapon in the older game too. But it just that in the old games, they were just boring weapons. So I never revisited them until like after we played all the way through Endgame in Monster Hunter World, and we were just doing stuff and grinding things, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna play new weapons now. And I tried out the sword and shield, and I was like, oh, this perfect rush thing looks cool. I like it. I like the way this is. And so I started playing sword and shield, and it was one of my top favorite weapons. Probably like top 3 favorite weapon. And then I never really played Insect Glaive all like that until this game. And in this game, I only started playing it because I was like, I kind of want to see what it's about. And then they were like, oh, you can hold focus and just have your insect attack with you. And you don't have to shoot. You don't have to shoot your insect at all if you don't want to. You don't really need to, except for like if the head is high or you need a red extract and you can't hit it with a melee attack or something. But like it's fun to play. It's hella fun to play. It feels very simple, but it's hella fun to play. It's still kind of simple in GU. I'm playing it in GU right now, and I've gotten used to playing. Well, I'm not used to it yet, but I'm getting used to playing Insect Glaive in GU. And while it's definitely not as fast and as crazy as it is in Wilds, I still find it rewarding to fight with, and it's different. And they have hunter arts in GU, so like you can play different styles of the same weapon. So there's actually a lot of different weapons or weapon styles in that game, which is kind of crazy. They should if they bring back anything, they want to make the game bring back hunter arts. Then if you bring back hunter arts and hunter styles, you could bring back the older versions of the way these weapons used to play, so that people can play the older styles and kind of like how they feel. Because some people don't like the way Insect Glaive got changed. Some people, I don't like necessarily all the changes they made to Charge Blade. But like, imagine having hunter arts and hunter styles, and we could change the style of the weapon back to an older style. That would be cool. That's how I am right now, just trying new weapons at this point, since I have completed everything. Vax and hunter arts were amazing, giving weapons more versatility and playstyle. Yeah, that shit's cool. Like I'm playing that right now, and I'm addicted to playing like GU, and I'm not even that. I'm literally just started like 2 days ago.
And then going out and telling people in a review that you thought the game was too easy.
Why is that a problem? I don't understand why it's a problem to say in a review that the game was too easy if you think it was too easy.
Is exactly what this dipshit did. He rolled credits at the end of low rank and went, oh, that was pretty easy. Are you kidding me? Most other reviewers were less stupid about it, and actually,
I don't think that was stupid at all, because we understand that there's a lot after the credits in Monster Hunter. Like you understand that, but the problem is that low rank is also GU's low rank ain't easy. It's not. It's easy. It's easy in comparison to like high rank in that game, but I guarantee you, low rank is harder in GU than it is in Wilds, even if you only play village quests.
They played the high rank and even the initial endgame stuff and included their thoughts on that. However, because Capcom bizarrely
look at new hunters struggle because it's their first Monster Hunter. I get that. But there are some people that I've seen that there's probably a couple of types of new hunters. There are people that game, right? And then there are people who they so casually game, and they're like, oh, somebody wants me to play Monster Hunter. It seems like it's cool, and somebody told me it was easy to play. And they get into it, and they have no idea what they're getting themselves into. But I know people that know what they're getting themselves into. They aren't really that great at the game, and they still mow through the low rank and have everything in high rank. And they just don't like, they don't understand where like the difficulty, like they don't understand that the game isn't that hard. And it's like, it might feel a little bit difficult to them, but they've mowed through the game. And it's like, this wouldn't happen if you were playing any of the previous games. You wouldn't have mowed through the game like that, especially because most of the time you're mowing through the game because you have people with you. On top of the game being easier, you have multiplayer where people just join in, right? Or you call SOS or do whatever. People just join. I swear to God, I turned off my SOS and people were still joining my investigations. Like if I do an investigation by myself, people still join in. But I don't have my SOS, auto SOS join on anymore. I don't know how that works. Like I'm not sure how that works. I think it might be people joining in on maybe in the lobby. Maybe because I'm not in a private lobby. But even if I don't call an SOS, they just look in the lobby hunts instead of the SOS hunts, and they still see my hunt. Maybe that's what it is. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. You have to make a restricted quest to limit the number of players. I bet people are going to complain G rank is hard and complain lower the difficulty when it's out. I hope they do. I hope people go, oh my God, G rank is ridiculous. Why is it? It's not even fair. I want that to happen. I want that to happen because like they've made their money at this point. They've sold stupid amounts of the game. Like they've fulfilled what they wanted to do. They've sold dumb amount. They broke their last record for Monster Hunter World, right? So they have everything. So now higher ranks can be for the people that are really wanting to get there, right? It'll be for the people that really want to go to the next level with Monster Hunter, instead of making it the same as high rank, where it's just like you bump up the stuff a little bit, and then you give us gear and weapons that just outclass the monsters anyway, and it just feels like high rank again. That's what I don't want to happen. Like I want to come out of these next hunts on the next, like the DLs, like the expansion, whatever the expansion is going to be. The title update might not be like, I don't know if that's the title update and expansion, the same thing, but like they're going to release that one monster with the other thing. But whenever whatever the Iceborne for this game is, whatever the Sunbreak is for this game, when they release that, I want everyone to get their ass kicked. Everybody.
Banned them all from actually detailing,
including me.
Much less showing any video. Or
people don't understand that low rank and high rank is an introduction to Monster Hunter for new players. People can't still join.
Hamstrung in that discussion.
Kind of tired of hearing this game is too easy at this point.
But even so, many of these people were.
I mean, he is too, but I just understand. I understand why people are saying that, and it's like I enjoy the game, but I hope that the game does provide a better challenge for the people that want it, right? Like not having to gimp yourself to get a challenge, but the game challenging you to get better, and the game challenging you to prepare correctly for the fight, because that was a big part of Monster Hunter, is preparing. Like you're a hunter, you're going out on a hunt, you're supposed to prepare, but like in this game you don't really have to prepare for anything.
Still mentioning the lack of difficulty they felt. All of them, by the way,
come play Night Rain.
Even more than that.
Yeah, I get it definitely because it's easy right now, but I hope, like you said, we get wrecked in G rank. I hope so. I will be happy, because I will be happy. It will be like there will be a smile on my face dying in that game, because I won't be the only one. Like, okay, so the other day, me and my friends, I posted a video of us playing against Tempered Gore, because Tempered Gore is the only monster right now that scares me, because I haven't played him enough, right? I haven't fought him enough times. I've maybe fought him probably like 4 or 5 times. And I haven't fought him enough alone. I fought him alone twice, but I thought I was fighting him alone until somebody joined my hunt like 10 minutes into the fight, when I thought I was in a alone, like I was alone, because I was able to do well against him. But I mean, I'm using charge blade, so I have a big shield, so I can block. But like after you start to learn like what the monster does, then you can know when to attack and when to do, you know, when to do different things, when to dodge, when to get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like then it'll be like, okay, well, now that I beat him and he's doing a lot of damage to me, let me mitigate the damage that he's doing. Let me build a set to or at least like get some more defense, get some things in there that stop his blight or his frenzy or whatever on me, and like take advantage of like to build a set to fight him and fight him alone, right? Because I know that I'm gonna be able to beat him, but I don't think it's gonna feel as good as when I beat like Stygian Zinogre. And I mention Stygian Zinogre all the time from Monster Hunter World because that was one of my favorite fights. I got my ass kicked by Stygian Zinogre by myself multiple times, but after I learned how to fight him
repeatedly,
I fought him, I think it was Sword and Shield. But after I learned how to fight him, I pretty much was able to fight him with any of the weapons that I normally used, and I would just beat him because I learned how to fight him. Like there was not something that was like I wasn't holding myself back and not using things to try to make it harder. He was just kicking my ass. So then when I learned what he did and I understood where he would go and how he attacked, it's like, okay, now I know what he's gonna do and I know what his telegraphs are. Now I can fight him and beat him and collect all of his armor and weapons that I wanted. So like by myself. And it felt good. That's what I want. I want it to feel good that I beat something, not that I just beat the dog shit out of these monsters. And it was like, yeah, it was hard because I didn't get hit. Like, oh, he did a lot of damage or he stepped on me and I died. Oh, okay. You know, sometimes you slip up and you die. And that's not even necessarily saying that like you should never die against any of these monsters. Like if you get stepped on, you get clipped or something like that, or you call like, because there's been a couple of times where I would call my Seikret to pick me up off the ground, and I'm like, and he just was out of range. He was just too far away, and I get hit, and then he runs over. But like, it's still overall pretty easy. Only monster that gives difficulty is Temper Gore. Yeah, Temper Gore. I have carded 2 times at HR 538, and both have been Temp Gore. I have carded once to Temp Arkville. The game is in general about learning how to fight the monster, though. I've died to Chakra, sadly. Like sometimes you slip up. Like that's okay. Sometimes you slip up, bro. I was fighting Great Macau. I was fighting Great Macau. Is he? Oh, he disappeared. I have a video. I have a thing of this. Wait. Look at his dead. Look at his dead. Hold on. Here we go. Look, I don't know if you be able to see it. See, look. I was fighting the Great Macau in GU, right? Look at his dead ass. The very first monster in GU that you fight. The very first big monster that you fight in GU. And it felt good to beat him. Because I just didn't have the game holding my hand. I didn't have everything to save my life. I had to save my own life. I had to not get hit. I had to make sure I dodged his attacks. I had to make sure that I didn't try to parry when he was doing his hind leg thing all the time from long distance, because sometimes he would fake you out. He'd be like, ugh, and then you would do a parry, and then he would like psych, and then you would be and then you would be putting your weapon away, and then he would jump at you, and it does a shit ton of damage. So it's like, okay, I'm not falling for that anymore. And then like you run up to him, and then like you poke him, he falls on the ground, and you have to learn all this stuff from fighting him. And they don't hold back on the amount of damage that these monsters do to you. If you don't got the gear, the first monster is going to walk all over you. If you don't know how to fight and move and stick and move, the first monster is going to walk all over you.
As the main gimmick of their channel.
Great Macau was a menace in GU. It took me so long to even beat him the first time.
Revisit of World and the Master Rack expansion, Iceborne. So all of that is super fresh.
Temper Chotacabra is still easy, but like you said, we slip up sometimes.
Sunbreak, in the
I heard Temper Gore in GU is extremely difficult. Bro, anything that is in high rank or above in any game before Monster Hunter World, I feel like is leagues harder than anything post Monster Hunter World. Like, now, granted, there are like the Elder Dragon things and like Electrion and like Fatalis and stuff like that in Monster Hunter World, right? Like, they have these raid fights that you can fight them on your own and try to beat them. Those are like, I haven't even gone back to do it because I never fought Fatalis in Monster Hunter World. I fought Electrion a bunch of times. I fought Kaluv Toroth, you know. And in the beginning, it's like, okay, in the beginning you die a bunch and you got to figure out the mechanics. You figure out the mechanics, and now it's just like, okay, let's do this without dying, and then you're good. And it's like, and then farm that monster because you know the mechanics because you've learned, right? But like, there's nothing really to learn. It's just like, in Wild, it's more like, don't get hit. At least right now. And right now, it's don't get hit. Just don't get hit.
Sit there and pretend that
if you get hit, call your Seikret.
Has altered their point of view.
Everything that you use is extremely
somehow
difficult.
managed to not shift their perspective.
The games prior to World would have made the average player break their system.
In a brand new game with even
Bro, I played the first Monster Hunter that I ever touched was Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. That was the first Monster Hunter that I ever touched. I had no idea what I was doing. Zero. I didn't get anywhere in that game. But, you know, that was the most least hand-holding game that you could ever play. I guess Monster Hunter 1 would be. But, like, that was like one of the most least hand-holding games you could ever play. Me and my friend had it on PSP, and we were clueless. We didn't know how to fight. We didn't know what we didn't really know what sharpening was about. We didn't know nothing. And I didn't play the game, like, because I had no idea what it was about. So I guess I can get it, right? Like, they want to bring in more people. They want people to play the game. They want the game to be easier and more, and people understand it more, so they can get into playing the game and get into it, right? So they can learn about it and they be told everything. But I feel like there's a line. I'm like, y'all are good. Y'all just broke y'all record. Can y'all chill? Can y'all chill a little bit now? Can the next game be kind of like the same thing? Just don't make it easier. Can y'all chill on the quality of life changes that affect the difficulty of the game, please? Can you not do that? Can you please chill? Just for one game.
Version of high rank Endgame that will ever exist for the game, because any actual veteran with a functioning brain who is interested in honesty.
You can just compare Wild's Rise and World to pre-games. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's pre-world and post-world. It's pre-world and post-world. Pre-world games are, and they're different, and then you have post-world, and they're just different. So it's like, what I want, just for the fans, right? For the fans of the game, they should re-release Monster Hunter GU on PC remastered. I was just saying this earlier to my group, my Monster Hunter group of friends, and I was like, yeah, they should definitely re-release this game on PC remastered. I guarantee so many people would buy it. So many people would buy it and get into it, because there are people clearly that want a harder Monster Hunter to play, and some people don't have a Switch, or they may not want to get a Switch to play it, or buy a Switch, or whatever. Like, so if you re-release that game on PC, remaster it, make it look clean and beautiful, don't change anything about it, and let people experience pre-world in like without having to make a brand new game and make it harder, y'all can have both sides. Y'all can have World and Wilds be whatever y'all want it to be, and then y'all can have Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate come in remastered on PC and let people have at it. Remastered on PC, PS5, and Xbox, and make it crossplay. That it would go dumb.
Might be able to recall what I showed you at the opening of this video. Years and years and years of people making the exact same complaints and arguments at the launch of a new game, and then that game magically becoming their new favorite game ever anyway, and putting thousands of hours into it.
It's not, see, the problem is it's not that people don't like the game. They love the game. They just want the game to be a little bit more challenging. Like that's it. That's what it is. It's not saying that they don't like the game. I like Wilds. The only thing I don't like about Wilds is the PC performance. I hope that the PC performance gets better. Like it's all right now. It's okay, but it's not the greatest. It still drops frames like a lot sometimes, but sometimes it be at 60 for some reason. And I've definitely put some mods and changed some things to make it better, but I want them to update it and make it smooth. I need it to run smooth on a 3080 with a Ryzen 9 5900X. I need it to run smoothly all the time. I need it to not drop under 60 FPS, please. I need to not have to use frame generation, please. Because if I didn't have to use frame generation, the only other thing that bothers me a little bit that I have to deal with is that the names and the icons above people's heads are jittery because of the frame generation. Even when everything else is very smooth and clean at 60 FPS, the things above people's heads jitter when you move, and it's kind of distracting, but I have to deal with it if I want 60 FPS. It's stupid. Had to download the optimization mod for 3060 Ti to not scream at 90%. Wait, there's an optimization mod? Is it on Nexus Mods? I'll probably have to look it up later. Okay.
Even though it was quote unquote.
Electrion had me pick up light bow gun.
There's an old review of, well, apparently the game was made too easy and they removed everything that this person enjoyed about Monster Hunter, and Capcom doesn't care about veteran players. Oh wait, this review was written 600 hours deep into the game that they think wasn't fun or enjoying.
Yes, because Monster Hunter, he loves it. Like, the people who love Monster Hunter and the people who enjoy playing Monster Hunter, they like the games enough to continue to play them, even if they're not their favorite one, because it's the newest Monster Hunter. So it's like, I'm going to play it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to play the game. I'm not going to not play the game. I bought Monster Hunter Wilds twice in 2 days. Because the performance of the game on my PC on the first day was unplayable. Like, I don't know what was going on the first day. It was just completely unplayable. So I bought it on PS5, moved the PS5 from my living room into my computer room, and rearranged my whole stream setup to fit the PS5 into it, and so I could stream Monster Hunter, play it all the way through the low rank, and then decided I want to play it on PC. I gotta get it to work, because I'm like, I know this game can run on my computer. This don't make no sense. This is their fault, not my computer's fault. And I got it to run better and playable, and I played through the low rank again the very next day. And then now I don't know if they've changed some things or whatever, but it'd be okay, but it's not perfect. Like, it's not like Monster Hunter World or Rise. Rise is on RE Engine 2, but of course the art style is different, and I guess how the textures and stuff are different, and all that kind of stuff, or how everything works in that game is different, because Rise runs at like 120 FPS, no problem, buttery smooth. World is on a different engine, which I think it's called MT Framework, and that game runs very smoothly on my computer. This game does not. This game definitely be struggling, and I hope that they fix that.
And removed all the fun stuff and was too
boosted my FPS from
and
45 to about 80 with just that mod. Nice.
750 hours playing this game that had all the bits they liked removed and was too easy for them to enjoy. Are you kidding me? At what point do we all just agree that these people are clowns?
No, they're not clowns. You just don't understand somebody who is a fan of a game. If they are a fan of a game and they love the game, They love the series. They will play whatever gets put out. Now, that's maybe Capcom taking advantage of the fans and not caring that, like, oh, well, they're going to complain about it, but they're going to play it anyway, right? And that's partly our fault for not, you know, playing. Like, literally, we should, like, dude, if Generations Ultimate was on PC, I guarantee there will be a ton of people playing it. And I feel like that's how they could say thank you, or they could say sorry to how Monster Hunter has gone from being fairly difficult, you know what I'm saying? Difficult to being more casual centric, right? They could put out Generations Ultimate on PC remastered. I don't know if my word would ever get out there and make that happen, but maybe if I put that out into the universe, it will happen.
Through dimensional clowns that somehow contain within them even more clown energy that should be possible given our current laws of physics in this universe. Their opinions are useless, and
no, they're not useless. That's crazy to say.
Another video, rather less.
That is crazy to say, bro.
Part of the issue is people just not being self-aware enough to
bro. That is a terrible take. That is a terrible take. That is a terrible take. You're not even being self-aware enough to be able to look at it from somebody whose perspective of somebody who's played for a long time and loves the series. Like these are the people that will buy into Monster Hunter no matter what. Like, this game was big in Japan for a reason. I said earlier, I don't know if you was here when I said it, but earlier I was like, it feels like the United States, or, you know, the West, has been very soft when it came to Monster Hunter. People don't play the game because it doesn't tell you exactly what to do, right? That's the old games, the older games. As the games progressed, they definitely were getting easier. They definitely started to tell you more things. And I think telling you more things about the game is not necessarily making it easier, because the game was still hard. So they were explaining things to you. They gave you tutorials. They gave you like a whole bunch of stuff. It's funny because the dude in GU, like the dude that you talk to about the Hunter arts, he be talking so much trash, bro. He talks so much trash. I forget exactly everything that he says, but yesterday I was like talking to him to figure out like how to use the Hunter arts, and he's like, oh, he calls himself the master, the greatest person to ever do it, or whatever, right? Like, this is the things that he says. Like, and then he was like, yeah, if you need some more hand holding, then you could go to the help menu and you can see the stuff there. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe it was too hard for you. What did he say? He said something crazy, yo. The Hunter arts guy, what did he say? He said something along the lines of like you know nothing, and you're like, you know nothing. Oh, he said you know nothing and you're lower than dirt, and I'll teach you what you need to know. Something along those lines is what he said. But I know in there he said you're lower than dirt, and I was like, that's crazy. They put that in the game. And then they turn around in Monster Hunter World and they are like, welcome, lower than dirt players. But they don't say that. They would never say that in Monster Hunter World. They would never say that in any of the games from Monster Hunter World on. They would never say that to anybody. Yo. Monster Hunter 4 U port, yo. Any of the old, I think I like Monster Hunter 4. That's where I started, but I think Generations would be the best fit for a remaster, because like it's just everything. It's everything from all those older games. Now I know Monster Hunter 4 doesn't have the Hunter arts, right? So like there's a little bit more grounded nature there, but I think it's fine. I think that would just be the best course of action. It used to be a real accomplishment to clear a Monster Hunter game, like a real accomplishment. Yeah, because I've never cleared a Monster Hunter game, and if I were to set out to, like, I'm low key going to try to clear Generations Ultimate, low key, because I'm probably not going to get it. I'm probably not going to do it, and but I'm probably gonna be playing this game for a while, and before like I get to like really deep in my head when I'm looking at playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and I've seen like clips of people playing the game in like late game, and I guess this might be is this generation this might be Generations. Oh, this is not Generations Ultimate. He used a wire bug. I was like, nope, this is not Generations Ultimate. But in Generation, because it kind of the game kind of looked, I don't know, maybe I just been playing the game. Maybe it just looked too good here. Maybe just low quality. I don't know. But yeah, if what was I even saying? Oh, I was looking at clips of Generations Ultimate, and I think that like the armor, the weapons, and stuff that you get late game, like late game, is so cool looking. And then by that time, you just know so much more, but you still can die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even in late game, when you have your high tier armor, you got your armor sets, you got everything on you, you can still get tossed. You can still get tossed.
How they got past?
Because I wasn't paying attention to what it was. I was just like, oh, I was like, is this GU?
In order to find,
I was like, oh no, oh no.
And being too stupid.
I don't know if it's because GU looks good or if it's because Rise looks bad.
The things they've learned don't magically unlearn themselves for the next game. They're carrying that with them. Low rank.
You carry but so much with you to the next game. You do carry your skill and your understanding of how you're supposed to play the game into the next game, but that doesn't mean that you're just going to blow through everything easily. It's that on top of the fact that things got easier. Like it's I'm good now. Like I'm good at least, like, quote unquote, let's say I'm good at the game now, but not only am I better, but you've also handed me a whole lot of things that make it a lot easier for me, who knows how to play the game, to get around things that I don't need to even worry about anymore. The new players aren't even using the stuff that's broken, mostly. Like, my friend went through the entire game. My friend went through the entire game, got all the way. He has like full gore builds. He has full Arcveld builds and stuff like that. He has all his weapons. He has a ton of weapons that he's made, and he don't never call his Seikret to pick him up. Like, he don't never call his Seikret to pick him up. And I'm like, why don't you do that? I just be forgetting that you could do it, because they don't have, he don't have no frame of reference from, like, I guess previous games or whatever. Like, he just kind of focuses on the things that he want to do, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna make this build, make that build. I'm like, great, but I just don't feel the need to really like make builds to beat anything. Like, maybe gore, that's it. Like, everything else, I don't need a build. Like, I can make builds for fun, and then not to mention the what's the name weapons, the Ardian weapons. The Ardian weapons, I don't necessarily think that they make the game easy. I just don't like the Ardian weapons because they're here too early. They're in the game too early. They invalidate all of the tree weapons. As soon as you get to high rank and have the ability to start farming Ardian weapons, the tree weapons are kind of invalidated, and then those are all the cool weapons. I don't even use the Ardian weapons, and it's not because I think they're too strong. I would love to use the Ardian weapons. I would love to farm for the Ardian weapons, but I think they're ugly. The Ardian weapons are ugly, and I'd rather use the cool looking weapons over using the Ardian weapons, because I don't need the Ardian weapons for anything. Like, I don't need the Ardian weapons to pass a DPS check. Like, I don't need them. So I don't use them. I don't even have Arcveld armor. I don't have Arcveld armor. I don't have any gore armor. I don't have the armor. I probably have the pieces to get it, but I never made it because I just like the way Jindahad's armor looks. I like the way his armor looks. I probably could farm out, just farm out Arcveld or whatever, get the armor and then layer Jindahad over it. But I'm like, like I can already beat everything. Like I can already beat everything. I don't feel the need to. In my Jindahad armor is not even fully leveled up. I made a single regular T8 weapon. Yeah, I made one. I think I made 2 Ardian weapons. I made one longsword because I just wanted to try longsword in this game and I wanted to like learn it. So I just made one Ardian longsword just to try it out in the training room real quick. Like I didn't even care what went in. I just threw it together. And then I made. Did I make any other one? That might be the only one that I made. I thought I made another Ardian weapon. I don't think I did. No, I don't think I did. The only acceptable use of the Ardian gear that I've seen is somebody made themselves Optimus Prime and they put a greatsword on their back and it looks like it's Optimus Prime with his sword. That's the only acceptable use of the Ardian weapons. They got the Seikret beat. Wire bug zipping was by far the craziest. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But at least, at the very least, it had a cooldown. At least it had a cooldown. At least it was limited, right? So like, let's say for instance, you picked up a wire bug and you had 3 wire bugs and you used 2 of them to do a skill, and then immediately after you got knocked down and then you wire bug to get up. Maybe you have another one by then, but then like maybe, I don't know, you got knocked down or you tried to use it twice or something like that, and then I don't know, there would just be a situation maybe that you get hit because you didn't have it available, right? Like maybe. But not the Seikret. There is no cooldown for him. The closest thing to a cooldown for the Seikret picking you up off the ground is he was too far away to make it to you in time to pick you up before the thing hit you, which happens sometimes. You call him and then you're like, you're not fast enough. Like there was definitely one time where I got knocked down and I was like, can you, like I called him immediately. Like it is a muscle memory tick now. When I get knocked down, I hit the D-pad. Like it is a reflex. Like I'm playing GU, I get knocked down, I hit the D-pad. I'm like, oh, you idiot. And I'm trying to force myself to not hit the D-pad when I get knocked down in GU. I'm like, nobody's coming to save you.
It's supposed to be easy. And the developers have spoken repeatedly.
The issue is that in terms of purely damage, the Ardian weapons make everything else invalid. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like they make them invalid, and it's stupid. Like this was my idea to make it better, right? So I think they had weapon skins in Rise. I think because somebody was saying bring skin weapons back, right? If you were able to skin a weapon, Ardian weapon, with a tree weapon, I think that would be great. But in order to do that, you would have to do it with a rarity 8 weapon, and it would consume the weapon, right? I think that would be the way to make it so that it would be meaningful for you to actually grind out a weapon from the tree and use it to be consumed by the Ardian weapon so that it will look like that weapon. And you could change it if you want to. You would just need to grind out or use a different weapon and change the skin by consuming that weapon and putting it on the Ardian weapon to make it look like that. I think that would be great.
And how they
in GU, if you get knocked down, you might not get all the way back up again. This is facts.
When they started losing new players, when they
you may get combos
off, the pain points, the hitch points.
You get knocked down, you're not getting back up.
Give up on the game instead of pushing through.
Or you might get back up, and it's just enough time for him to knock you and send you back to home base.
And so they've tuned low-ranking wilds to help stop that happening as much as possible, smoothing out the experience to help retain these easily bounced players, to try and get them to the real meat of the game that happens later. It's been a running meme in the Monster Hunter community for at least a decade that when the credits roll, or after you beat the final current boss monster in the game, congratulations, you've completed the tutorial. LOL. Now you can start playing the real game. And it's a lasting meme.
Yes, and the crazy part about it is that when you get to the high rank in this game, when you get to the post credits, right? It's still easy. It's still easy. Like the monsters just hit a little harder, but it's still easy. It's still comparable to low rank. Like it's not so much harder. Like there are some new monsters that show up that you're not used to, so you'll get like smacked around by them a little bit. You get to see, but like it's not gonna bounce them from high rank either. But like I said, when G rank shows up, when master rank shows up, or whatever the new rank shows up, we'll see.
For a reason.
You don't understand that.
There's truth behind it.
The amount of time I spent watching the cart cutscene in GU is comparable to time in Wilds.
Mildly experienced player, quote unquote, beat the game in 15 to 25 hours. But somehow, so many of us have save files with hundreds or even thousands of play hours. Despite that, beat the game in 20 hours. How do we now have hundreds? And it was partly thanks to the whole Covoid thing that Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes, you have hundreds and thousands of hours in the game because it was difficult and it was challenging, and it was like at a certain point it's like, okay, I want to continue to do this because I want to get to something that somebody else doesn't have, right? Like I feel like that's part of it. It's like I want to get this cool armor and I want to get something that nobody else has. But in this game, everybody is wearing Arkveld. Everyone. Everybody is wearing Arkveld and everybody is wearing Gore, right? Like unless they just like the way some other layered armor looks. But like everybody is not wearing like whatever the highest rank, the strongest monsters are. And then you got different armor sets for different stuff in the older games. So like everybody is not wearing the craziest high rank G rank armor sets in the older games. You have to really work to get there. You don't really got to work to get to this stuff in this game. And I would argue that you really didn't have to work that hard to get to the end stuff of World either. I don't know what Rise is about because I didn't really play Rise a lot. Like I wanted to, but I just didn't have time to play Rise a lot.
Is launched without a proper end game at all. They didn't even have an end to the story.
But I bought it twice.
And the intended final story.
I bought Wilds. I mean, I bought Wilds twice. I bought Rise twice because I bought it on Switch and I bought it on PC. I bought Monster Hunter World, I think 4 times. I bought Monster Hunter Wilds 4 times, and I bought Iceborne 3 times because I bought it for me, and I bought the game and the DLC from one of my friends, and I bought the game and the DLC for one of my other friends who didn't play the game at all, but whatever. And then I bought it for PC and I had it on PlayStation. So I'm giving Capcom my money for these games. Just give me a little challenge.
Story, boss, and endgame loop to the base game.
Almost never beat something pre-world in 1 or 10 tries.
In the game before that even happened. I'm so tired of the disingenuous chatter.
It's not disingenuous.
From self-proclaimed Monster Hunter veterans who magically don't remember anything about the reality of those older.
No. We remember the reality of those games, which is why we say the games are so goddamn easy now. We remember. I'm literally playing GU right now. I went back and played Monster Hunter 1. I didn't play that much of it. I literally played like the first mission because I was just like, this is crazy. I might have played a little bit more than that, but like I played Monster Hunter 1 last year. I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. No one should play Monster Hunter 1. Anything after Monster Hunter 1, go right ahead. Don't play Monster Hunter 1. Shit's trash. Controls, trash. I played it on Steam Deck too. Like
games. How this all played out before. Or even the things they themselves said back then. Criticizing an apple for tasting like an apple is so achingly, exhaustingly dumb.
Nah, bro. Imagine you had the best tasting apples, right? Like you had the best tasting apples. They were crisp, crunchy. They were just sweet enough. They had that bite to them, right? Like the best, crispiest apples. And then each time they released the apple, it got that little like soft, you know, those shitty apples, you bite into it tastes like an apple. It's an apple, but it's not really crispy, crunchy. It just kind of soft a little bit. And then the next time it come out, it's even softer. It's like smaller. You don't really get as much of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's still an apple, and it's like, come on, man, it's an apple. They keep giving you apples. It's like, but the apple don't taste like as good as it used to. It just don't. Like it used to be crispy. But you eat apples all the time. You eat apples. That's all you ever eat is apples. So you don't think you're gonna get tired of eating apples? It's like, well, no. I'm not gonna get tired of eating the delicious crispy apple, but I don't like this soft apple that it feels like it's not really like it's not there. It's not good. I don't know. Y'all didn't grow them right. Something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then like the apples just keep getting softer and smaller, and then they give you this little tiny ass apple, and it's like squishy, and they're like, it's an apple, man. Like that's what this dude is saying right now. Like, long story short, Ion's been betrayed by apples at least once in his life.
That's what's happened.
No, that's what he's saying. He's like, oh, why are you getting mad at apples for tasting like apples? And it's like, it may taste like an apple, but you can definitely have an apple that is much higher quality or tastes better and be crispy and just like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's different levels. Just because an apple doesn't mean I'm gonna love it.
He's whining about the base level experience of a new Monster Hunter game playing out exactly like the base level experience of every other recent Monster Hunter game.
Recent Monster Hunter game. Key word here: Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter. And then it was like, yeah, he had things from people saying that in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate that the game was easier, but it has always been getting easier. GU is definitely an easier game than Monster Hunter 4 because of the Hunter arts and stuff like that, right? Like Hunter arts is like Hunter arts and Hunter arts and Hunter styles. Some of them are like wire bugs in Rise. Like that's the equivalent of what they are. Like I have a parry with Valor. What is it? Is Valor Insect Glaive, right? When you put your weapon away, there's a long window where you will just dodge out. You will just dodge out of the way, and you'll take some red health damage, but it won't completely like negate all damage. Like you'll still take red health damage, so you can't do it forever every single time. I was doing it a lot, and I didn't even notice that I was taking red health damage until Austin said that I was taking red health damage, and I was like, oh, let me not do that so many times. And then so like when you're low on health, you can take the red health damage, but you just better not get hit. And then sometimes the window is not even as big as it looks, because I was like, oh, I'm going to counter from super far away. And then he jumped and he still hit me. And I was like, all right. So I was learning how I had to use this thing. And then I found out that you can hold it. But if you hold it, it drains your stamina super fast. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll get decos later or whatever for that. I don't even know how many decos or what the extent of the deco situation is in GU. Like at all. Clutch Claw, then Wire Bugs, now Wounds and Seikret. Yeah, like Clutch Claw, I never really had that much of an issue with Clutch Claw. I don't know, maybe I didn't really feel like it changed how hard the monster was, which it does technically, but like it never really bothered. Like Clutch Claw didn't bother me that much as it bothered other people, but like that turned into Wounds. Clutch Claw turned into Wounds, and Wounds are dumb easy to like manipulate, right? So it's just like, oh, I hit him. Now there's, and you can see the wounds most of the time. Like I don't hold down focus all the time unless I'm playing Insect Glaive or Bow. So A lot of times, I'll just see like a mark on their leg, and I'm like, oh, there's a wound right there, and then I just hit the button, I see it, and I attack it or whatever, or focus strike it, right? You focus strike it, and I love the animation, especially for like Charge Blade and shit like that, for these certain animations for just like these big cool moves. Of course I'm gonna do the focus strike moves. They're cool looking. They do a lot of damage. They go brr, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they do a lot of damage. So it's like, of course I'm gonna use it. It's cool. But like, it does make it easier to fight these monsters. Like, you can just knock them over most of the time. You just do a ton of damage. If you hit the wound, they just stop moving. If you hit their wound, they just stop moving. So like, if anybody else is with you, somebody hits the wound, they stop moving. Now y'all beating on them the whole time somebody is doing their like focus strike move.
Game. Selfishly bitching about how the developers don't care about veterans.
Why is that? Why is it selfish? Like, if somebody is spending their money on the game and they've been playing this game for forever, and they're just like, come on, man, like, at least give us something, right? Give us something. Throw us a bone here, which would be Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate Remastered on PC. That would solve all problems. I'm telling you, that would stop everybody from bitching. Because everybody that has issues with these games and how easy they're getting, they would 100% go buy the remastered edition. And I'm sure that there are probably millions of players that would go back and play the remastered version on PC if it was on Steam.
Players and helping them find love for the game by making it easier to get into. Hey, veterans, why don't you want other people to love the game that you love?
No, we do, but we want them to know why we love the game. Like, we want them to love the game for the same, like, reasons. And maybe that part is selfish, but it's like, I want you to get your ass kicked like I got my ass kicked, because I got into the game because I got my ass kicked by these monsters. I was like, yo, these monsters are crazy. They look cool though. I want their armor. I want their weapons. And I can't let them being difficult stop me from getting them. So I'm gonna play the game, and I'm gonna try to get better. And even if I lose, I'm gonna keep coming back and trying to get better at the game. But they don't get to feel that reward. They don't get to feel that that experience. They don't get that experience. Maybe they do because they're new to the game. And it's like, oh, you know, this was so hard for me to do because I've never played the game before. But like, if there are a bunch of veterans playing the game and there are a bunch of new people coming into the game, the Monster Hunter community, okay, I'm not going to say everybody, because there's always one side of the community that's super sweaty and will like down people and tell them they shouldn't play the game. But we want people to get their ass kicked for them to get the experience, so that when they do overcome something that was difficult, they feel that like euphoria of like, oh my God, I beat this thing for the first time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that feels good. That's what people should get to feel. I feel that fighting the Great Macau in GU. There is no monster that was the first monster that you come across in Wilds, Rise, or World that made me feel good about beating it when I beat it the first time. Like, because you just beat it the first time. It's not nothing. And I'm somebody who beat all those things, went back to GU, and got my ass kicked by a Great Macau, or was at least scared of the Great Macau, trying to fight it with a weapon that I've never used before. When I went and learned Longsword in Wilds, right? I had not used Longsword in a long time. I hadn't used Longsword since World, right? In this game, I picked up Longsword, and what did I do? I went straight, like, I went to training mode first. I did go to training mode first to like kind of like get an understanding of what the weapon did, you know, and when I was supposed to do the counters and stuff like that, right? And then immediately went to Arkveld, because I knew that if I went to something else, I wouldn't really get the feeling. Like, I did end up going to go fight them because I just wanted to hit some stuff at one point. But like, I went and fought Arkveld a bunch of times to use the what is it? What am I looking for here? the threat of death. I used the threat of death and not having a shield and not understanding the weapon to beat into me how to counter. Because the only reason why I was trying to fight anything that was like Arcveld or hard was because I wanted to get better at countering. I'm sure that I could beat Arcveld with the longsword if I wasn't focused on just trying to counter stuff. But I wanted to learn to counter with the longsword. So I had to get in front of big attacks and try to force myself to learn the timing of the attacks so that I know how to time my counter with the attack that's coming, right? And you get hit, you're going to get hit, you're going to take damage, you're going to lose, you're going to card a bunch of times because you're trying to learn something that you don't know how to do, right? So it's like, all right, well, I can just fight them. If I just fight them and I just don't get hit, then you just learn the weapon, don't get hit. You'll beat them. Like, that's not really... You just move. Like, there's just too many things and like to help you not get hit in this game. That's why I said I think if you take the Seikret out of the equation, the game gets better. The bear keeps going after you hit a wounded spot. Wild's a good game, but oh wait. Yeah, wounds are so overpowered. You hit one or two and the monster just can't get back up. Wild is a good game, but the accomplishment of killing Gore is nothing like killing Fatalis in GU. Facts. Killing tempered Gore. Like, I think the tempered monsters in Wilds were a bigger threat. Maybe not, but maybe they felt like a bigger threat in World to me than they did in this game. But I mean, that would go along with the trend of the games getting easier over time, because like tempered monster, if you were fighting a tempered monster, it was like, oh shit, all right, this monster might fuck me up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this monster might fuck me up.
Why so eager to not?
Spent 20 minutes with Charge Blade in training mode, and then went directly to Temper Heartfelt.
That's a really weird gatekeeping thing. They're out there trying to insist that the new low rank shit be hard enough to challenge veterans somehow.
I don't think that low rank should beat veterans, right? Low rank shouldn't beat veterans, but low rank should at least give veterans some pause, right? Like, be like, okay. But I think it's just the Seikret's fault. Like, after thinking about it and like knowing what the Seikret does and all the things that it gives you, I think the Seikret is kind of the core of the game feeling so easy. And not using the Seikret and just making the decision to not use the Seikret is kind of backwards. It's just like, I'm just gonna not use this thing just to handicap myself to make the game feel the way that it's supposed to be. That doesn't necessarily feel rewarding to me because I had to make the decision for myself, and no one else cares, right? No one else is going to care that you did that. Now, most of the time, nobody's going to care anyway, but if the game forced the Seikret away, right? The game didn't have the Seikret there for you to call to do stuff in battle. Other people that are carting around you constantly, and while you're skillfully fighting the monster and knowing when to strike and when not to strike, they would look and be like, oh, okay, this guy knows how to play. But when you have to make the decision to not do something to make the game harder while everybody else is using the things because, you know, the game gives them to you, it's like, well, I might as well do it too. Nobody cares that I'm just not doing anything, you know, whatever. Like, you're just handicapping yourself. What would do to the game's
player base? Do you think that it would get healthier? Do you think
low rank is an introduction to the game's new gimmick for veterans?
More interesting, or would it push people away and make people even more bitter and infighty? Please, just be honest, and not just honest, by the way, but thoughtfully honest. Think, then say. And hey,
I've thought a lot about this.
Easy you think the games have become? Go find the risen elder dragons in Sunbreak. Maybe that quest that has both a risen Shagaru and a primordial Malzeno. You know.
And that might be hard as fuck. That might just be hard as fuck. I just didn't play that long. I didn't play the game that long. I just didn't have time to play it.
The one with a one cart fail state. I mean, for years.
Good. It's good that that's there.
Years, I've kept hearing about how Rise Break was the easiest monster game ever, right? So it should be no problem for you. Go do that. Show us all how good you are. Meanwhile, the rest of us will be over here with Wilds, approaching it with joy instead of petty, pretentious misery.
I mean, people giving their opinion about something that they love changing drastically over the long period of time, and them not finding the same rewarding feelings and stuff in it that they used to, I don't think that is necessarily like misery, especially when the people are spending hundreds and hundreds of hours playing the new game, but still like yearning for a challenge is like not wrong, right? It's not wrong when something that you like is changing drastically and you've been there through all of it, and it's like, dude, it keeps getting easier. Like what? Like why? Like why? Like I was like, it's enjoyable that so many more people are getting into the game. Great, but I'm telling you, when that new DLC come out, that very first monster, it need to check you. It need to check you and put you back into a mode where you need to prepare for hunts. Like that's what it is. Like that's what Monster Hunter has always been. But they're removing the preparation. They're removing like the tension in fights. That's what it is. It's like it might not even be the difficulty that's ruining it, right? It's just like the Seikret removes tension, right? It makes it feel like, oh well, you know, I'm probably not gonna die. I'll be okay as long as I just play defensively, play passively. I'll be fine. But like you can't always do that in the older games because you can run around and stuff like that, but you know you can run away from them, but you have a certain amount of stamina. You jump on a Seikret and just hold down the dash button while you're sharpening, or you can't do it while you're sharpening, but you just hold down the dash button and run around, or you don't even have to do that. You could just run around and they can't catch you, and you just zigzag back and forth or whatever. Like you can't. I wish that he would understand, or go back and play the old game, or play Generations Ultimate and play through it, and try to understand people's perspective about why they say that the game feels so much easier and they don't necessarily like that about the game going in that direction. I think that's an okay opinion to have. And people are frustrated with it because it's like, oh, I love Monster Hunter, but it's the things I love about the game are changing. Like they're just handing everybody wins. Like
so hopefully once and for all, again, at least until the expansion comes along and this starts up all over again and people complain about the expansion.
Like he said, go try the thing in Sunbreak where, oh, you just see how good at the game you are. And it's like, well, I mean, there are probably some people that got to that point that probably would never have gotten to that point in games before that. And it's like, you got there, but how rewarding does it feel to be there when everybody is there? When it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, well, everybody that cares about playing the game is there. It's like you got there, everybody else is here, and then you're like, oh, you ask them about, oh, well, what about this about, or what do you like about the game here? It's, oh man, the monsters are cool, blah blah blah, this and that. They don't know anything about the game. You have all this knowledge of the game, and they know nothing, but they've still got to the end game, got the end game gears, end game this, end game that, and they've been able to beat everything 1,400 times without a problem. Like, it's just, what's going to split the player base? I feel like when games have a place that the average player can't get to, but like it makes it a little bit better, because then it's like, if the players can't get there, they want to see somebody get there. But when everybody is there, it's like it's not special anymore.
Is too easy, and the Master Rank stuff isn't as hard as the older Master Rank stuff used to be. for now at least, I've gotten that out of my system. I don't want to talk about this again. I'm gonna try real hard not to talk about it again. I know that just. I know this
You'll talk about it again.
Just because I've.
You'll talk about it again. Let me see. Let me see this video real quick. 32,000 views. You'll talk about it again if you have to.
Screamed it
in the DLC in the next game. You'll talk about it again.
The last time I have to talk about this for a while. I just want to have fun with the game. I want to enjoy the game from
Go enjoy the game.
Thanks for watching. I am Blunty. We'll catch you.
It's fine. And like, I feel like you like, man, you telling me you ain't played none of the old games? You telling me you ain't played none of the old games and you ain't see why people feel the way they feel about the game? That's crazy. He bro helped invent Monster Hunter 1. Yeah, he probably did with the controls that they had in that game.